Most people believe their greatest social fear is being disliked. But if you look closely, in your own reactions, your own memories, you'll notice something different. Being disliked hurts, but being misunderstood unsettles you. It lingers longer, it occupies more mental space, and it often feels harder to resolve. This video examines why, not from a motivational perspective, but from a psychological one. We'll explore why misunderstanding feels threatening at a deeper level than rejection, how identity and perception are psychologically linked, why the impulse to explain ourselves is so strong, and how to reduce the mental burden that comes from needing to be understood. This is not about becoming indifferent, it is about becoming stable. A psychological distinction. There is a critical difference between being disliked and being misunderstood. When someone dislikes you, they still recognize who you are. They simply reject it. When someone misunderstands you, they respond to an inaccurate version of you. Psychologically, these experiences activate different systems. Dislike activates social rejection. Misunderstanding activates identity threat. According to self-verification theory, humans are motivated not just to be liked, but to be accurately perceived. Your mind is constantly checking, do others see me as I see myself? When the answer is no, the brain registers instability. Because misunderstanding introduces uncertainty about intentions, about character, about future interactions, and uncertainty is something the nervous system is designed to reduce. Identity and psychological safety. Identity is not formed in isolation. Psychologically, it is shaped through feedback, how others respond, interpret, and remember you. When there is a mismatch between who you believe you are and how you are perceived, the mind experiences identity dissonance. This creates a quiet form of stress, not emotional drama, but cognitive strain. You may notice persistent rumination, a need to mentally rehearse conversations, a strong urge to clarify or correct. This isn't vanity, it's the mind trying to restore coherence. Misunderstanding threatens something fundamental, the sense that your internal reality matches the external world. Why we feel compelled to explain. Over-explaining is often misunderstood as insecurity. In reality, it is a self-protective response. When you sense misunderstanding, the brain interprets it as, my intentions are not being registered correctly. So it attempts to repair the gap. You provide more context, you clarify motives, you justify behavior. However, psychological research on communication shows something important. Explanations driven by anxiety tend to reduce credibility, not because the explanation is wrong, but because urgency alters how it is received. To the listener, it may signal uncertainty rather than clarity. This is why explaining yourself repeatedly often worsens the situation, not because you are unclear, but because the interaction itself is misaligned. Why misunderstanding is more disturbing than dislike. Dislike has structure. You know where you stand. You know how to respond. You can disengage. Misunderstanding lacks boundaries. It leaves questions unanswered. What do they believe about me? What assumptions are they acting on? What version of me exists in their mind? The brain reacts strongly to this ambiguity. From an evolutionary perspective, uncertainty signaled risk. So the mind remains alert, monitoring, adjusting, correcting. This is why being misunderstood feels mentally exhausting. It demands constant internal effort. The long-term effect on behavior. Over time, the fear of misunderstanding changes behavior. People begin to speak less precisely, reveal less complexity, simplify their personality. Not because they lack depth, but because depth increases the chance of misinterpretation. Many people who appear reserved are not introverted by nature. They are managing risk. They have learned, often unconsciously, that full expression does not guarantee accurate understanding. So, they limit exposure. This creates a quiet sense of isolation, being present but not fully represented. Practical adjustments. Reducing the fear of being misunderstood does not require withdrawal. It requires discernment. 1. Accept that understanding is not universal. Not everyone has the capacity or interest to understand you. This is not a personal failure. It is a limitation of perspective. 2. Notice who seeks clarity versus who seeks judgment. Some people listen to understand. Others listen to evaluate. Explanations only work with the first group. 3. Let consistency replace justification. Patterns communicate more effectively than arguments. Those who want to understand you will observe over time. 4. Prioritize internal alignment. Being accurate to yourself matters more than being accurately interpreted. This reduces the need for constant correction. 5. Build tolerance for partial misunderstanding. Psychological stability does not come from perfect representation. It comes from resilience when representation is imperfect. In the end, desire to be understood is not weakness. It reflects a need for coherence between who you are and how you exist in the world. But peace does not come from controlling perception. It comes from recognizing this. Understanding cannot be forced, and misunderstanding does not invalidate reality. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You only need to stop explaining yourself to those who were never trying to understand. That shift, quiet, internal, deliberate, is where psychological freedom begins.